What is happening, guys? Cowboy here. Welcome back to another Pre-Iceborne update video, and today we are looking at the king of the crop, the current Charge Blade build that you should be going into Iceborne with. Now, this is considered your all-around general Charge Blade build. I do want to say that in specific instances, you can run elemental Charge Blades. I know the Kjar Ice one in particular is revered as being god tier. But in terms of just general, all-around, getting the job done, this is my go-to loadout for Charge Blade. So the Diablos Tyrannos 2, obviously still a absolutely fantastic Charge Blade, though I do think this will get replaced by the Tigris Charge Blade in Iceborne. I'm a big fan of that weapon in MHGU, and I hope it is in its full glory in World. But anyway, moving on from there, Dragon King Eye Patch, and then we go with 3 different pieces of Nergi Gamma. The Mail, the Coil, and the Greaves, and then Kushala Grip Gamma. And the Gamma gear really upgraded the Charge Blade stuff in a big way, because we have so many more slots for decos. Now, this is obviously a very deco-intensive build. You know, I have a magazine decoration, I have 3 artillery decorations, but some key points I want to point out with this that I think are the most important are, of course, your artillery and capacity boost should be your go-tos. Because we don't have a lot of white sharpness, I think a protective polish is very important here. And the last thing is 1-point guard. Now, this was actually a tip that came from Ankator X, but when your shield is charged up, your shield charge plus having guard at level 1 gives you enough of enhanced defense that you're able to block roars and transition into SAEDs much easier. So, hence, that is the 1-point in guard. It comes from a much more reputable source on Charge Blades than myself. But all in all, I mean, this build will get the job done. You know, we're sitting at 972. We don't have a lot of sharpness here, so keep in mind you're going to want to sharpen up right before you get ready to dump out your damage. To that extent, I would recommend bringing along some weightfish fins. Those will, or excuse me, not weightfish fins, whatever they are, the sharpening fin, because it's basically like I have an automatic grinder. But, you know, handicraft jewel, mag, charger, attack, triple artillery, sharp, iron wall, tenderizer, elementless. And all in all, this just, I mean, there's nothing to really be said about it. It's Charge Blade, it smashes, it gets the job done. Let's head on out and show you what it can do. But yeah, the Gamma armor really did kind of make these absurd, because before, I mean, you know, we weren't able to fit in a lot of things. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the weightfish. I did call it the right thing. But now that we have access to so many more slots, we are, you know, we've reached levels of godhood that I would say are almost unparalleled in Monster Hunter. You know, I can't remember in GU ever having a set that was this chock full of offensive capabilities. And down we go. So anyway, let's do some hunts. I have decided what the next 2 builds we're going to be showcasing are. I'm going to have one for you guys on Gunlance, because Gunlance is getting some pretty tasty buffs in Iceborne. And then I'm probably going to do Lance. I have a decent longsword build. I was going to do that, but like, to be honest, I'm kind of a potato with longsword. I don't play with it enough. Whereas all the weapons I'm showcasing here, I would consider some of the ones I'm better with. I do plan on playing a lot of dual blades in Iceborne, but those will all be elemental dual blade sets, and to be honest with you guys, I just don't have the dual blades catching back up on console. I mean, Kjar is used pretty much exclusively for LE dual blades, and those will likely get dropped in Iceborne because they're not in the skill tree. You can't upgrade them at all. And so instead of going and upgrading, you know, 5 different elemental dual blades, I decided it would be more prudent to just wait for Iceborne, because I'm sure there's going to be a whole new set of weapons that we're going to be wanting to take advantage of for elemental-oriented builds. Right, now where are you hiding? There you are. So your initial encounter with something, you're gonna run out of sharpness. Oh shit, I've been playing too much Final Fantasy. Oh god. So in Final Fantasy, there's, you know, confusion and blind mechanics are fairly common, and what you do is you turn away from them so that they're not facing you. And if you do that, you're not affected by them. And that's exactly what I just tried to do. Alright, so now that we are charged, give a quick sharpen. You can see with the Weightfish Fin, it only takes 2. If you have Weightfish Fin Plus, they only take 1. And this thing is dead in like a half a second here. It might not even survive the mount, to be honest. So much damage going out into this. No one likes you, photography raptor. Just hurry up and die. Yep. Goodbye. So before we go after our next monster, I'm just gonna... There we go. Fresh shield charge and 2 SAEDs lined up. To be honest, I'm really hoping that the change to charge blades that we're getting in Iceborne will make elemental charge blade a lot more powerful. Because right now, I mean, it can work, but you know, the spread's really wide, and I would say a large amount of your damage from LE charge actually comes from just fighting in sword and shield, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you know, like you can't get crits on your files, so you know, it's always felt kind of weird. So like, you know, you want to work in crit element for the damage you're gonna do, but you don't actually benefit from that at all on files. So it's been a very kind of niche case-by-case basis for builds for a while. But with the change where we're gonna have that new axe swing, I think that may make elemental charge blades a serious force to be reckoned with. I mean, you could even argue that they already are, you know. If you're going in with a charge blade that's... this poor thing is just getting abused. But yeah, I mean, you can already do some serious damage with LE charge blades. But I have a feeling they're going to be even spicier. Oh no! No! Ah. Meowmers, wake me up! Meowmers, get me! Get me, Meowmers! Oh god, is everybody asleep? Oh man, we woke up fast. Come on and slam. Welcome to the jam! Damn. It's dead. Oh. Oh. Hello there. I'm not going to be able to carve this corpse today, I see. Somebody else has decided that they are not going to let it happen. Cheat mantle. It saves the day. Carving this. I mean, I could always hit it with a poo-poo pod, but it looks like it's busy over there. This is my kill. It's not yours. And this reminds me of a funny story about fishing. So back when I lived in Florida, I would go fishing a lot, normally in lakes. And, you know, there's obviously gators all over Florida. Now, gators aren't really a threat to you. As long as you're not like going in the water and like smacking the gator in the face or doing something that's obviously stupid that you shouldn't be doing, the gators don't care. You know, you fish and do your thing, the gator does his thing. But if I was fishing and I had a fish on the line and there was a gator in that water, he saw that fish as a free meal. And so a fairly common situation would be I'd have a fish on a line and I'd have to sit there and essentially fight the gator for the fish. Like, I would get a fish on a line, and a gator would make a beeline for it. Like, oh man, I'm getting me some dinner. And then so there I am, you know, running down a shoreline essentially. I don't have my thing on, but like basically running down away from the gator while trying to reel in the fish, because otherwise the gator was just going to scoop it on up and you know, make it a meal. Kind of felt, I was having memories of that. Watching the Rathian come over right as I killed the Kalamu. That's why weight fish fins are so nice. Even a basic weight fish fin, you know. Having two versus having to sharpen all the way. Another thing you'll probably notice about the way I play Charge Blade is I very rarely ever charge the sword. On encounters like this that are so just short and fast, the sword just really isn't needed. You know, I'm doing a lot of the damage from my SAEDs, so. You can still charge the sword. It is actually important to note, because charging the sword means you'll have, I want to say it imbues the sword with like impact, so attacks to the head of the monster while in sword mode can still go and cause stuff like KOs. But you know, I'm getting charged so fast that it's essentially, it's almost like a loss of time with me charging it versus just dumping out consecutive SAEDs into it. And I'm hoping that the changes in Iceborne will make that playstyle of Charge Blade not as prominent. Because to be honest, it's really not that fun, just sitting there and just SAED, SAED, SAED. It's kind of a dull playstyle, but you know, that's how Charge Blade is in World, is you just non-stop drop them slams out. There goes my shield buff. I've often thought about trying to pull off a power prolonger Charge Blade build, but I just don't think it would really work out all that well. Big chop. Or Pink Rathian. I remember the first time I fought this thing, man. It mopped the floor with me. Which was like, it was a huge surprise, because I had fought, you know, Green Rathian and was like, oh, get down, you scrub. And now it's like, I fight it and I'm just like, die. Don't waste my time, peasant monster. Like, honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do in World, is like, you know, just doing hunts like this. Like, these obviously aren't impressive monsters. I'm not fighting Arc-Tempered or even Tempered for that matter. It's just regular high rank monsters. But just going back after you've done your due diligence, you've gotten geared up, you're all set, and then going back and like just replaying the content, just fighting the monsters, except now you're like a god of battle essentially. It's a good time. I do not have my... Yeah, I need my magical wind mantle to make that useful. Well, it looks like we're taking the long way up. Oh, damn it. Nope, come on. In terms of what else to expect, though, kind of how I said, I'm not going to go for Elemental, just because I'd rather wait for Iceborne to work into that. So I think the other two builds I'm going to do are likely Gun Lance and Lance. My Gun Lance build was actually pretty close to still being viable. So that only needed some minor updates, and it's still it's just really, really nice, especially for when anytime you're hunting something that's typically known for having, you know, high resistances. You know, Uragon, Lava Sea, something like that. Both of those are excellent monsters to fight. Because you can just, you know, it doesn't matter how hard they are, because I'm sitting here doing shelling damage. And then Lance in particular. The Lance build I'm going to showcase is literally the one that got me through pretty much every single Arc-Tempered fight. It's just a very, very sturdy build. This on real fast. Well, you jump in the air one more time for me. Good girl. One big old swing. I also really like the look of this. This is just brutal looking. Like, I was always a fan of the Nergi armor, but the Nergi Gamma in particular just looks ferocious, you know? So anyway, that's the Charge Blade build. You know, 4 monsters, sub 15, easy clap. But yeah, definitely does some work. So up next, we're going to take a look probably at the Lance build. Like I said, just really big fan of that build. I don't play Lance a ton, but the Lance has always been that weapon for me that if I'm ever in a situation where I am struggling to beat a monster, I know I can do it with Lance. So anyway, that will be up tomorrow. Once again, thanks for coming by, all the support on these videos, you guys. I know I haven't done a lot of Monster Hunter lately, so I do appreciate you all coming back and showing some love. And rest assured, there will be a whole buttload of content coming once Iceborne is released. So with all that being said, I'll catch you guys next time.